Hello again. Welcome to episode 13 of Recreation Rooster, a podcast for recreation and health enthusiasts. I'm Dan Chiava once again. This is my co host, Myisha Jones.
Hello, everybody.
And let's get started today. As always, pretty much always, we will start off with the quote of the day. And that is recreation's purpose is not to kill time, but to make life, not to keep a person occupied, but to keep them refreshed, not to offer an escape from life, but to provide a discovery of life.
Wow, I love that. Can you read it just one more time? That was a lot.
It was. Recreation's purpose is not to kill time, but to make life, not to keep a person occupied, but to keep them refreshed, not to offer an escape from life, but to provide us discovery of life.
Wow, I love that. I love how it really focused on killing time. We're not trying to kill time. Time is our most limited resource that we have. So, being able to make life, to live, to thrive within the time that we have allotted on this earth is definitely something that all of us can resonate with. What was the last portion there?
Yeah, and I'm going to read the last portion again to provide a discovery of life.
Mm. To provide the discovery of life.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. It's so interesting when you talk to people about life, just life in general, and the first thing that comes to mind for them oftentimes is their work and what they do outside of work. But there's so many different facets to life in general, and so many new I would say layers and chapters to it that happen simultaneously that recreation therapy allows us to explore and experience. I love that quote. It's amazing. What do you think about it, Dan?
Yeah, well, I've said it before and again, and I mean, it makes me think back to the philosophy of leisure class that I kind of took, was that we're kind of always creating and recreating ourselves. It's a very active process that our life is kind of created through leisure. What's fun and meaningful to us, and we're kind of, playing with and discovering and creating, malleating. It's malleable, kind of who we are, and we're constantly in that process of discovery and learning and playing, and which is a beautiful thing. The process of learning and evolving who we are, who we want to be, and who we become. So,
Yeah, and it's continuous. I mean, oftentimes I tell people all the time, some allied health professionals may only work with you as long as the insurance referral gives them authorization, but a recreation therapist can work with you for a lifetime. We're constantly evolving and changing. We are not the same individuals we were 5, 10 years ago, and in the future as well. We're always evolving and becoming better. So when you find yourself in situations where you are experiencing lack of growth and stagnacity, reach out to a recreation therapist and explore, explore, rediscover new interests and new experiences in life. Because no one wants to kill time. We want to make time for growth, and we want to live well, as well. So I do love that. All right. So let's go to our next segment. Song of the day. Take it away, Dan.
yes, the song of the day today is California Dreaming. And, that really is kind of, on the West Coast. She's from the West Coast. But California is kind of really nice, much more laid back than here in the New York, New Jersey, the greater New York City area, which is very go, go, go. So uh, definitely a nicer pace for leisure.
That is
in
so
that
true.
situation.
Very leisure oriented. And me, myself, being a Southeast United States transplant that moved out here to the West Coast over 20 years ago, it's definitely a different change of pace out here. Leisure and sporting, recreation, social engagement is definitely valued, and all of the other facets that come with social engagement, um, when it comes to fashion, entertainment, all of those things are totally magnified over here as well. And I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah, I mean the West Coast is great, and of course it gets very cloudy and sunny here in this area. But what do you call it? Southern California in particular is very sunny and
Yeah, very
you know,
sunny, blue skies,
comfortable
Mediterranean climate.
Mediterranean climate. Yeah, light of great wineries and that type of a thing out there. So it's
Yes.
oftentimes, yeah, in the winter here, I'm California dreaming about being there in a way, I
It is
guess.
quite a dream. And
Uh,
I love the fact that so many artists, so many bands like the Mamas and the Papas have experienced it, and it has inspired them to create timeless classics that we can all resonate with. From the Mamas and the Papas to the Red Hot Chili Peppers to Dr. Dre and Tupac Shakur to all types of artists, all types of genres have spoken about the great atmosphere that we enjoy here in Southern California. So I love that. I think it's a great way to use music as a as a way to unify and connect with others as well. I do know that oftentimes when I do play music that speaks to California dreaming or California lifestyle, be it the Beach Boys or Elvis, the clients just get very excited and they express gratitude and appreciation and memories that they've experienced living in Southern California or visiting Southern California. Can't wait for you to come out, Dan. Gonna show you a great time.
yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Yes.
California. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
is. It's a great place. Yeah, definitely a special place. You have the ocean, but you also have a lot of streams, rivers, lakes, ponds. I
Yes, we
mean,
do.
diverse terrain, mountains, desert, and of course the city of LA, Hollywood.
Hey,
Mhm,
LA. Wait.
mhm. The other big media market besides New York City. Mhm,
Look at me. I didn't get it right.
mhm, mhm,
But anyway, you guys know what I meant.
mhm.
All right. So thank you so much for mentioning the Mamas and the Papas, California Dreaming, which is a
Yeah,
classic, as our song of the day for episode 13.
yeah,
Okay. Which airs on March the 25th, guys, which is
yeah.
tomorrow.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah, you have the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yeah.
yes, we
So,
do. Go Dodgers.
which used to be the Brooklyn Dodgers or whatever.
Oh,
They
that's right.
also had a rivalry with the New York Yankees, and now they also do because they moved out to LA, the other big media market in the country. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
uh,
looking to get a chance to go and see some Yankees soon. We'll see what happens. I do like baseball. My family, we are definitely baseball enthusiasts. We do go to games quite often as well, and go to different sporting just in the community alone.
ye-
So I'm really looking to go to an Angels game soon. I have not done a Angels game, but I have done Dodgers. Um, I would love to go to a Yankees game on the East Coast, or if they come and, play over on this side, it'd be great as well. Love baseball culture 100%. So yeah, I'm definitely over here California dreaming. It's been a great experience. Over 20 years of enjoying diverse culture, great weather, and top-notch entertainment and social and leisure and recreation experiences here At a premium price, might I add, but we're hanging in there. It's worth it.
Well, of course, I mean, over by you, of course. I actually, and it's good we do that because until now, I don't know if I originally realized that you're from the American South. And what do you call it? That you just moved, that you moved to the West Coast like 20 something years ago. So that's pretty great. But I mean, actually, in the American South, baseball is very big too, as
Yes,
well.
it is. And football. Yeah,
Yeah.
American football.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely.
I would
Yeah,
also
no
say for
doubt.
any recreation therapist that's out there, there's lots of opportunity for growth and expansion within the profession here on the East Coast. We get paid very well, and we definitely have a lion's share of options when it comes to what populations you would like to work with. And we are definitely in demand. And New Horizons Concierge Firm, which is my firm that I established in 2016, after many, many years working in private practice, we are always looking for committed long-term private contractors for our diverse clientele that we work with out here for in-person programming. Flexible, great pay, all that good stuff. So that's just my little guilty plug right there.
No, that's great. I'm glad you said that. I mean, of course, going out to the West Coast is definitely worth visiting. And that is true. If you're young and just out of college, it's a great place to be. It
Yeah.
really is. Yeah. I mean, definitely love traveling and yeah, coming from a place like New York City and stuff, going to LA that is one of the things I want to do. I've been to Northern California and Southern and Central Oregon before, but not really you know, where by the LA area. So
Yeah. And also too, I must admit, having lived in Central California for many years, working for
uh,
forensic populations, and then visiting Northern California is very different. So different
it
regions
is.
of the state is very like the culture is very different from one another, as well. So
It's much less
exploring,
industrial, like north
yes,
of the Bay Area or whatever.
right.
It is much less industrial. But I mean, of course, yeah, the West Coast, I mean, in some ways it was started later. It was the gold rush was 1849 or whatever, when everybody went out to California. But in terms of, yeah, like you have recreational therapy in the schools, which I didn't know until recently.
Yes, we
But
do.
that's ahead of most of the country. So
Yes,
with
it's a
those
strong. It is an ever growing number of RTs that do work in school settings. And of course, we have a large amount that works in the prison settings. Absolutely.
that I knew. Yeah, that I knew. Yeah. So for those of you who are interested in working in the prisons setting, I'm sure that's quite an interesting place to be.
Yes, it is. I had the privilege of working in a prison setting for 8 years. It was a game changer for me. It really prepared me for working field-based community outpatient mental health as well. So, and
You
it's a
found that was a little bit
great,
more chill too, probably.
say it again.
You found out that was a little bit more chill. I mean, I'm sure it could be a little intense working in the
Oh,
prisons,
yeah, it
but
can get pretty intense. It can. They'll keep you on your toes. They'll make you a better therapist for it. That's for sure. It prepared me for a lot of future endeavors that I'm now capitalizing on as a consultant. So it was a great opportunity. So yes, guys, come on out, California Dreaming. Come out and explore and see what the land of milk and honey has for you. Absolutely, and surfboards and palm trees and tall girls.
I love it. That's
Yeah. All right, guys. Next up is our next segment, which is pushing forward, which is pushing forward actionable steps to advocate for the profession. And we will have Dan go ahead and cover that segment for us.
Yeah. Um. Now, I would love to do that, but could you please send me the planning section? Um,
Sure.
I
Okay,
appreciate it.
so that segment is on advocating for staffing
Oh
applications.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and of course, that's a big thing that we need to do is advocate for. I mean, we are very much in a culture. I mean, this has been the case for a long time. We've been in a culture of doing more with less, and we need to kind of push back on that. That if they want great programming and they want programming as much as they are asking for or whatnot, we need to hire, you know, credentialed staff as much as you can find them. I mean, with only one recreational therapy program in New Jersey, I don't know how easy it is to find credentialed staff. but we need credentialed staff, and we need, to pay them at a decent rate, so that way they'll stay and there'll be continuity. So,
I totally
and
agree with you. The days of doing more with less, the skeleton crew, that results in burnt out staff and quality impacts to the quality of programming are over, guys. We do not need to just, put our head down and try to push through. We need to make sure that we are screaming it to the rooftops, the need for proper allocation of staffing and resources for our departments so that we can be functionable and we can be sustainable and we can be successful. We do not want to be set up for failure. Okay. And it is essential that the recreation therapy supervisors and managers push this forward as well, you know. And so let's just talk a little bit more about how we would go about doing that. Any input?
well, I mean, a lot of it comes down to the quantitative analysis. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of it, um, in terms of justifying that you need this number of staff for this reason, and you're trying to get the percentages uh this high with this many people, etc. A lot of times it does come down to the numbers and quantifying. And that's why you can kind of take your, how do I say it, ideas and put them on paper. Set up a report to your administrator and get them to, if you're working and you can get them to do that. So, and that's critical to have. And I actually, of course, I mean, in working as a director for many, oftentimes I often put together a report from my administrator every month that kind of highlights the initiatives that have taken place, the staffing, and your findings. So that could be one way to communicate with your administrator on a professional kind of level. So I know that sometimes you don't always have the time to meet or whatnot. Maybe you do have the time to meet, and that's good, but um, they're oftentimes the people making those decisions. And we also need to have more people in administration with recreational therapy backgrounds. So
I
that's why,
totally agree with you. I totally agree with you on that.
yeah.
And people say, where do I start with this analysis, right? People oftentimes say, and my thoughts has always been, have your staff, your current staff, do a time study, meaning do a regular 40-hour work week and have them log what they do every 15 minutes. And have them understand that this is not you criticizing them and critiquing them and micromanaging them. This is you getting a adequate assessment of use of time and how the demand for services outweigh the amount of services that can be facilitated safely, ethically, therapeutically, professionally. And then taking this information and doing that number crunching and putting in a recommended proposal a proposal that has recommendations on the amount of staffing that is needed to adequately function, to be efficient, to be a high reliability organization, what that means, and then crunching the numbers to the money. What does that equate to in dollars? And then crunching the numbers to phases, meaning when is the first one going to be hired? Is it all in one fell swoop, or will it be in phases? So, putting together that proposal to show the need and to show what is required to accomplish the need is super critical. I couldn't express it any better than you did, as this being one of the actionable steps that recreation therapy leads, recreation therapy supervisors, recreation therapy managers need to do. And if you find yourself in a situation where you're a part of a department, and you are being supervised by someone other than a recreation therapist, you taking the initiative as that direct care provider to do your own time study to show that there's a need greater than what you can actually provide is super important. And then also the other thing, if you're working over, put in that paperwork to get that money, that overtime and that comp time, whichever you choose. Put it in, because it creates a paper trail showing the need. So don't work extra hours for free. Don't work extra hours and don't tell anybody. Get it pre-approved and make sure that there's a paper trail showing. And also get your money, get your compensation for those hours that you worked over. And don't work so hard that you get yourself sick and burnt out. Don't do that. Okay? So I think that's a great one for pushing forward, for that segment, pushing forward.
Right,
Yes.
that's some of the big problems in the field that, you know, recreational therapists have been doing that way too much. With taking on that overtime for free because they're short staffed, they're told, they're asked to do more with less. And we need to, yeah, definitely justify. And of course, yeah, I feel like if you bachelor's level recreational therapist and you're considering a master's degree or uh, like an MBA or master's in healthcare administration might be a good option if because we need more people in healthcare management with a recreational therapy background. We need more people in healthcare administration. Recreational
Totally
therapy.
agree. I totally agree with you on that. And then also too, going in and getting your certification through the National Parks and Recreation Society, the
Mhm.
Certified Parks and Recreation Professional or the Certified Parks and Recreation Executive is also
Yes.
a valid certification that can be obtained as well. It has served me to be, it has served me in knowledge base and in opportunity in being a manager for Greater Los Angeles and a few other agencies, having my CPR P certification through National Parks and Recreation Society. And I am looking in 2024 to be sitting for my Certified Parks and Recreation Executive position. So I'm very excited about getting an opportunity to sit for that and gain additional knowledge base as well. I think there's like under 500 CPREs in the whole nation. So keep me in well wishes with that as I try to expand my knowledge base and apply it for the betterment of recreation therapists as well.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, as that's something I've thought about looking into as well. So, for sure, and that's yeah, those kind of certifications, are definitely great add-ons to the CTRS credential. The being a recreational therapist. I mean, yeah, certified Parks and Recreation professional, Parks and Recreation executive. That's even better. That's good. And I mean, of course, in New York State, it's the KSAC certified alcohol and substance abuse counselor. And there's also similar items in New Jersey as well, some kind of a substance abuse certification that sometimes can be add-ons if you're interested in working with those populations. I know there's the child life certification as well. such child life specialists if you're looking to work with kids. So, and I know there's uh horseback riding and you know, equestrian therapy certifications and other avenues that could be advantageous to obtain aquatic, maybe some aquatic space certifications. So there's all kinds of things that can help you get to if you want a special niche in when the field of recreational therapy. So
Right. And
yoga, meditation, there's probably certifications for that. I know there is in yoga, I'm pretty sure. Tai Chi maybe too, aquatics instructor, kind of a thing, lifeguarding, etc. So all valuable skills that could, you know, get you better positions and better financial compensation too. Definitely leverage all that. So
yeah, and one thing to remember, guys, it's about getting those managerial and those business skills. So once you begin to go into the realm of allocating for staffing allocations and budgets, it's imperative that you not do as much direct care programming, so you can have the latitude and the flexibility to prepare and attend executive leadership meetings and stakeholder meetings. So you're still doing the work. You're just doing it at the executive level or the managerial level. So always know that trying to do, 30 hours of direct programming, you probably won't be available to go to those very important meetings.
right,
So be mindful that you want to have, 15, if you are a manager or supervisor, you want to have maybe 30% or less of your 40-hour work week geared towards direct care so that you can be available and prepare and do quality assurance and a lot of other supervisory and administrative oversight duties as a manager. So when it comes time for you to advocate for those staffing increases, you'll have your numbers together to get it done. So that's important. Yeah. So next up, our next segment, guys, is behind the numbers. So today on Recreation Rooster Podcast, episode 13, we want to talk about screen time of school age youth. Okay. So we were able to crunch some numbers to get some statistical data from the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. Okay. They have crunched new numbers that says that children between the age of 8 to 12 have on average 4 to 6 hours of screen time per day, guys, and that teens have on average 9 hours of screen time per day. Okay, depending on who you speak to, this is a good thing or this is a bad thing. Okay, this also includes any screen time that they may have that has been incorporated into their learning environments, and then also the screen time that they use, the unstructured free time screen time that they have as well. So the question always is, what is the content that's going on, and is this supervised or is this not supervised, and does this attribute to maladaptive behaviors, or does this attribute to pro-social skill building, right? And depending on who you ask, it can mean totally different things. And as we know, during the pandemic, many RTs pivoted to doing telehealth and telework sessions with clients and with organizations that they work for. So there are many parts of recreation therapy that promotes use of smart devices, but there are also many parts of recreation therapy in a traditional framework that discourage continued use of smart devices. Being a parent myself, I do tend to go in a direction of discouraging amplified use of screens and smart devices during weekdays, and then have an annotated amount that can be used during weekends, so that the youth, young adult, and pre-adolescent can have authentic social experiences in person in natural environments. So what's your thoughts on those numbers that kids 8 to 12 have 4 to 6 hours of screen time on average, and that teens have upwards of 9 hours of screen time per day? This is per day.
That's way too much. I mean, we're losing the ability to be in person with each other and having those authentic experiences that we had before all of this technology. So it's a big problem. It's also a big problem because it's also not that good for your eyes as well. And can kind of uh, promote isolation and end up uh, increasing the rate of depression, uneasiness, anxiety, and other mental health issues that go along with those kind of uh, overuse of com computers and technological devices. So yeah, that's a huge problem, and it's as well as the whole the that kids are too sedentary. That it would be very much better for them to move around a lot more. So promoting that healthy lifestyle. I mean, it's about balance. I mean, it's good that they have technology skills, but of course, when it comes to losing the authenticity, and particularly of childhood, that becomes a national tragedy, really.
I totally agree with you. And I mean, just taking into consideration the prevalence of cyberbullying and the fact that
Yes,
some children they never cut off their phone.
right.
So
Yeah,
they're always tapped in to their peers. Their
right.
life is always being chronicled online. No sense of privacy or healthy boundaries or even opportunity to not disclose the most intimate, private parts of our life, right? So, with that being said, I agree. Those numbers are startlingly high. It makes me always think about if it's free, if a service or a product that we use on a day-to-day basis is free, oftentimes we are the product. If it's free, you're the product. So it oftentimes makes me wonder sometimes with some of these social media businesses, it makes me wonder what is the end goal of some of these interactions that we have online and the algorithms and stuff that are put into place. Um, in my opinion, a lot of times it seems like it is a form of behavioral modification, as well, which is a strong suit that recreation therapists use. So, um, aiding our clients in making the right choices when it comes to percentage of use of smart devices and balance, as you mentioned, balance is key. Too much of one thing is never good for the body. So I feel as though, recreation therapists should definitely delve into this more, do more research studies on the impacts of the modalities that we use in our interventions and if it aids in reducing these numbers you know also taking into consideration the prevalence of byproducts of excessive cell phone use and smart device use by youth and how it may impact them well into their adult years is super important as well.
Yeah, well, and I mean, of course, it's a funny thing because in terms of social movements, in terms of organizing, in terms of you know stuff like Black Lives Matter and other social political movements, Meetup.org, that wonderful creations have been developed to help people become involved in those kind of movements. Uh, and those are movements to get offline though, to do actionable things in person. But when it becomes where it's only being used to perpetuate your life, a fictitious life or whatever kind of a virtual life online, that's when it becomes a problem. So it's a double-edged sword. Yeah. And I also am having trouble hearing you. So it's a double-edged sword. Uh, oh yeah, probably because
Rico, thank you for letting me know. Thank you
you
for
turn
letting
your
me know.
phone back on.
Thank
Right.
you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, guys, our next segment is on below the surface, recreation subcultures. And today we would love to highlight the foodie culture. Yum, yum, yum.
Mhm.
So we have a huge I would say gustatory, culinary, exploratory, leisure, affinity grouping, as we can say. People have always been intrigued and fascinated by different cultures and different seasonings and spicings and preparation of food. You know, this is one of the things we do to live is eat, drink, and be merry, right? So we have a new term. I guess it's not so new, but it's been around for a while. It's called foodie. So many people say, I'm a foodie. Do you enjoy, different cuisine? And oftentimes people utilize this interest and this commonality to go on food tours. Um, to go to different social events where they may pair beer, microbreweries with pie, or they might, have a social engagement that focuses on Greek culture with Greek food, or Italian culture with Italian food, or they may even have religious ceremonies and festivals and fairs where they may focus on different Jewish foods or I would say even Muslim foods with Ramadan here as well, or different types of foods. So there's a great subculture of foodies, and it has spilled out and given us great recipes that are being shared and swapped, um, social media content, magazines as well. And some people surely just travel the world and try different foods and comment on it. I think it's great.
Yeah. Um, it is. There's definitely is a big part of culture. So food always goes with culture and celebration and kind of our version of who we are, creating who we are and
Yes,
recreating who we
indeed.
are.
So my question for you, Dan, are you a foodie?
Yeah. Uh, I love food. Uh, yeah. And of course, that's become a big thing, of course, with I guess food and drinks. Of course, there's also been a lot of. I've never really had bad food at like a craft brewery or winery because they seem to care about the way things taste.
Yes.
So, that's always a big part of it. So that's some ways a big place to go, but that's become a whole culture
Yes.
the wineries, breweries, and stuff. A lot of them have popped up everywhere. So
And
really,
the presentation of the food, the presentation and
mm,
all the other pairings that come along with it. You have some food tours that you go on where the food is actually the center of attention, and the lodging and the transport and all the other experiences go around the food. I've had the opportunity to go to a few similar presentations at the Getty Center, which is one of the museums here in Los Angeles, and they had a midnight pairing of wine and cheese and desserts um, in the evening, and we got to dress up, and it was a sunset dinner, and it was at the Getty Center, and it was absolutely beautiful. And then there was entertainment that was put into place as well, and like I said, a presentation by wine masters, which are called sommeliers, right? They're like the experts with wine and stuff. And then we got to try out different wines from local growers and also international growers. And it was beautiful, and that was all premised around food and drink. Yeah.
I love it. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was great. And as recreation therapists, our programming a lot of times has to do with engagement, but just embracing culture, Food is a strong element of it, so we should always take into consideration what we're pairing. Everything isn't a hot dogs and popcorn type of affair, and everything doesn't have to be expensive either. Just have to be very thoughtful in procurement of the refreshments that's going to be given during that engagement. Yes. And next up, guys, we're going to have our next segment, which is Fast Facts and TR. Go ahead, Dan. Let's talk about being tech savvy.
Indeed, and that's huge. I mean, of course, that's another skill that we often have that you could leverage, and that alone can get you jobs and get you to leverage the amount of compensation you have in those jobs, because we do deal with a lot of technology in terms of specific programs that we use on the computer for registration and other items. We have all kinds of knowledge and impacts with regards to Microsoft Word, Google Docs, the Google Classroom, etc., that can be useful for uh, programming and for keeping track of communication, um, setting up systems of communication, email address. I mean, of course, you really, if you're part of an organization, and sometimes even especially a big organization, and that's one of the challenges is that the right hand doesn't always know what the left hand is doing. So, uh, setting up those systems and using technology to do that, those systems of communication, is very important. So that way the left hand knows what the right hand is doing and vice versa. So, in many ways, there's 8 hands on, like an octopus on a big organization, and all those hands have to know what the other hand is doing. So, to really make it coherent and cohesive as an organization. So, and having those systems in place, sharing Google Docs and other ways of communicating are very important. So, and I've been involved in that. I know myself, and that's another skill that we have and can leverage as recreational therapists. I know sometimes even with interactive programs, we've set up big screen TVs or connected the computer to the TV or the Wi-Fi to uh, actually share what's going on the computer on a big screen. These are all skills that could be used for better compensation. So.
Absolutely. I mean, just taking into consideration being a high reliability organization and utilizing registration and logistics software, to schedule groups and programs and special events that we have for our clients, it's limitless. The days of being inefficient and just shuffling papers around, those days are over, guys. Those days are over. And thank God for it. Because I remember many, many hours within my 40-hour plus work week of just, doing Excel sheets. Those days are over, thank goodness. Even things when it comes to utilizing software for our budgetary books, increasing transparency so that we can query reports and get results, to really show work productivity, to really show fiscal transparency and viability, to really, put these numbers together and show what's feasible and what's not feasible, and then pivoting and then making informed decisions based off of that is super important. Also, too, the tech savviness, it really helps us, even in one of our earlier segments about advocating for staffing, being able to crunch those work productivity numbers, you know, for each quarter, if, fiscal year quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, and being able to show trends. It's super important that, we as recreation therapists show that we are tech savvy in many, many different ways. And it will help to garner more respect, more transparency, more awareness, more resource support, budget, staffing, and opportunities for us to grow and expand. So yes, I agree, Dan. That is a great fast fact about TR. And please put it on your resume, guys. Put that on your resume. It's definitely gonna show that you're amazing and you're gonna shine. And next up, guys, Our next segment is Cornering the Market. This is tips to have a successful private practice. And we wanted to talk about phone and email marketing. So, as we know, um, email marketing, you look at your email every day, you're flooded with marketing. Okay. So, being a private practice owner, for a long time now. I would say it's never a good thing to do cold calling or cold email marketing. You want to find your niche and then go into regulatory sites and pull the vetted agencies and the vetted, I would say, facilities that service the consumers that you're trying to reach. Trying to do a quantity versus quality, like a mass email approach to marketing RT, has not proven to be very successful, and it can be quite costly as well. I know that that is something that many YouTubers and social media influencers do, but we have to take a different approach being healthcare practitioners. So oftentimes, one thing that we do have that is a strength that we can use is that many of the agencies that we work with, they have to be regulated by the state, by the government. And because of that, they have sites that you can go on and you can pull information on owners. I always say the best thing to do is to reach out to the owner or the secretary of the owner. You can do that by email or phone. During this age where people's email accounts are flooded, oftentimes I say if you can make a phone call, make it earlier in the morning, and then also follow up with the email. Make it very short and concise to the point, and you can drop your digital marketing into that email, and it's surely free, right? As well. And then, of course, that phone call, keep it short, 2 minutes at the most, and request for a meet, a virtual meet. Request for 15 minutes of the time. You'll be surprised how far you can get in getting a 15-minute meet with the owner. And then also ensure that you've done your due diligence in knowing that you're speaking to the person who has the authority to sign contract, or you're speaking to the person that's right below that person if you cannot reach that person. With that being said, that is the tip that I would put in for a successful TR business. Yeah. Next up, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about nuts and bolts in therapeutic recreation. These are supplies, equipment that we use in TR on a day-to-day basis that help make the job easier and flow much better. And I wanted to highlight how most RTs that I know always have themselves an annual planner. They have a notebook, either in digital form or print form, that they use to plan out yearly programming. It could be annual programming that they do every year. It can be new programming that they do. And I know me myself, I live and die by my planner. Um, and understand everything is not in stone, but it's great to have a plan laid out so that if you need to pivot, you can still stay on track. I do enjoy the fact that the VA provides us with a planner that has not only days of the month clearly laid out with big squares, but also a to-do list on the side. And it also gives us all of the holidays for that month listed on the side. It gives us a lot of different, I would say, memory retention cues
Retrieval
in
cues,
the
yeah.
notebook as well.
Mhm.
So that there is one thing I know most RTs do have is a annual or a yearly planner. What's your thoughts on that one, Dan?
Yeah, it's definitely a great idea to have. And there's becoming more and more options as well with technology. That so yeah, and it can pop right up at you and stuff. You can have all kinds of reminders and everything like that that help you remember things to do things. So all those retrieval cues. So
Yes, indeed. And for the digital ones, Microsoft Teams has a great system in place where we get reminders for tasks. For work groups, we can divide it. We can have I believe they're called groups. I believe that's what they call it, teams groups. No, channels, teams channels, which are like work groups for individual projects as well. It's really great how we're able to utilize printed and digital annual calendars to keep us on task. And guys, last before least of our segments, we're going to talk about the therapist friend, clinical tips for a RT that works in clinical environments. And we're going to have Dan talk about working with multidisciplinary teams. Go ahead, Dan.
Right, yeah, and this is a big item that we do, and of course, building those relationships with your OT, PT, speech and language therapists, social workers, and doctors, nurses, whoever else is on your interdisciplinary team is vitally important. And I mean, of course, with that, you could even teach kind of what we do, and have them do some of the stuff that we do, and we could do some of the stuff that they do, and there's an overlap and a potential overlap, and it works nicely. I mean, co-treating can be highly effective to get from two different perspectives for the participant from multiple part um, from multiple disciplines. The participant gets different lessons and from multiple disciplines. So that's extremely important, and definitely something that is very much to be encouraged is using working with your multidisciplinary teams to get to for best practices in many ways. Yeah.
I agree. So, those days of working siloed, saying I'm just this therapist trying to stay within my bubble, those days are over, guys. You
Mhm.
have, in order to be successful, to be a high reliability organization, and to expand the reach of recreation therapists, you need to work together. Okay, you need to work together. Those days of us being, harassed or bullied or marginalized, they're over, guys. And we cannot endorse them when it happens to us. For us that are still experiencing that, we need to build alliances, collaborate, and work together with like-minded individuals within our areas. Okay, when you find yourself dealing with someone who's a bully that doesn't want to work well with you, that person is not meant for you. But all the others, definitely work with them. Let them isolate themselves. They want to be a jerk, let them isolate themselves. Continue to collaborate, cooperate, not collaborate, cooperate, but collaborate and cooperate and co-treat with other disciplines. And that is how we will affect a positive change for our clients, and we will further expand the influence that we can have as recreation therapists. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's the way the world is today, as kind of a service-based economy where customer service is also paramount. I mean, it's not. I mean, the days of your father worked in a factory, your father did this. They could get you a job in a factory or with a florist. We really have to work together and collaborate with everything that's done in this economy. So having the skills to do that nowadays is paramount.
Yes, indeed. And guys, our last segment is the Recreation Rooster stamp of approval. Go ahead, Dan.
Yes, and today we selected Jasmin Payas. Jasmin has worked with me in well, when I was at Laris Health at Cedar Grove. When I left, she became the director and kind of got involved, created some great programs there, including pet therapy and uh, some other incentive programs that was very good for the participants. So definitely shout out to her. I mean, she was definitely very dedicated. She brought a whole turkey when and we had another Thanksgiving feast for Thanksgiving. I mean, so It was really, she's really somebody who has very versatile, hardworking, has worn a lot of hats, and is definitely a valued recreational therapist. So,
That's fabulous. Thank you so much, Jasmin.
and she's also
Yeah,
bilingual, which helps. She speaks Spanish as well, so she's fluent
nice.
in Spanish. So that's a big advantage. She was able to connect with some of our, you know, Spanish-speaking people, and I mean, she is very intelligent, bilingual, uh, hardworking, analytical, compassionate. So definitely is an asset to any organization wherever she wants to go. So, mm. so
That's
definitely.
wonderful. Yeah. So Recreation Rooster stamp of approval for Miss Jasmin Paez, CTRS. Absolutely. And where does she work now?
Um, what do you call it? Uh, I'll have to get back to you on that. But I yeah, but I did want to recognize her nonetheless. So
Okay.
uh,
And with that being said, guys, that is the end of episode 13, which will air on March the 25th, which is tomorrow. We want to thank our viewers for tuning in today. Please like, share, and follow. Please drop a comment in the comment section. Grab one of our amazing t-shirts off of our website, www.recreationrooster.org. And you can always feel free to reach out to me, myisha, at recreationrooster.org, or you can give me a call 213-524-6925.
yes, and of course with me, Dan Chiavo, 845-987-0104. That's 845-987-0104. Daniel at recreationrooster.org. Daniel at recreationrooster.org. And you can, like I said, check us out on the website. Grab a t-shirt, support us, like us, share, follow. And we love to hear from you about your comments on thoughts on these episodes. So, great to see you all again. And until next time, um, cock-a-doodle-doo. Bye-bye.
All right. Happy spring. Bye.